Hello and welcome to this first tutorial for Cattitude. The first thing you want to do when you start using Cattitude is log into your account. You go to the URL given in your welcome mail, fill in your username, your password, and then press the login button. This will take you to the main screen of Cattitude. Now, Cattitude is very extensive software with many possibilities, and that automatically means many buttons to press. But please don't get overwhelmed or intimidated. We have a great community, there's a very good manual, and we're available 8 hours per day, every day, including Saturdays and Sundays, to help you out. Before you start translating, you first want to check your user settings, because Cattitude can cooperate with currently 3 machine translation engines, namely ModernMT, DeepL, and Amazon Web Services. Now, to set up these services, I strongly recommend you to check out the websites of the 3 services mentioned and just follow the instructions there. This will give you keys and secret and version names, which you can use to fill out the user settings here in Cattitude. There's also a 4th service called OpenAI. This is for the very famous ChatGPT AI, which can help you to rephrase translations, shorten translations, and give you the meaning of terminology and phrases and sentences in certain contexts. It's also very well possible to use Cattitude without any of these services. In that case, Cattitude will just revert to its own translation memory, and you will see that's still a very powerful computer-assisted translation tool. Once you've set up everything, you go to New Project Upload. You can also just return to the main screen by pressing Translate. You can also go to New Project Upload screen. And here you can set, the first thing you can set is your language pair. In my case, you see English to Japanese, English to Simplified Chinese, and English to Korean. For today's tutorial, we'll just use English-Japanese. Next, I can choose my client. But as this is your first translation project, you probably don't have any clients yet. So all it will say here is just null. So you can just leave that as is. Below that, you will find today's date. In Cattitude is a very organized software. And in Cattitude, the current date is always part of the project name. So I just recommend you to leave this as is. Next, in this case, we're starting with a new client. So I just fill out the name of the new client, and we'll call this client test. Once I've done that, I can choose the file I want to translate. And in this case, that's cat.docx, which is a Word document. And it contains a short Wikipedia description about computer-assisted translation tools. Once I've selected my file, I just press New Project to upload the file to Cattitude. And you can see it says the file has been uploaded. And the folder contents of test, the current client / today's date, is indeed cat.docx. Once more, I can select the languages I want to translate this file to. And I can set the number of translation segments per page. 500 is a good default. It will enable you to scroll through all translations very smoothly. But if you encounter any problems or issues, you can lower or even increase this number. After that, you just press the Translate button to have Cattitude analyze your file. And it's already been imported and divided in this case, 5 translation segments. There are lots of bells and whistles, but as for now, we'll just focus on the translation itself. It says your current language pair is English to Japanese. And by putting my cursor here in the first segment, Cattitude would automatically request a translation from both the default machine translation engine, in this case ModernMT, and its translation memory, which you can find on top. Well, if I want to start working from the match in the translation memory, I press Ctrl up to copy this match to the current segment, or I can just empty my segment and put my cursor there again. I can also press F2, by the way, to request a machine translation and start from that. In this case, you're not here to learn Japanese, right? So we'll just assume the machine translation is correct. It's not, but it doesn't matter for this purpose. and use Ctrl down to enter the result into our translation memory and automatically move on to the next segment. Same happens with the second segment, the third segment, the fourth segment, and the fifth segment. I can press F5, and now you will see that all translations have been added to the memory. F5 is used to refresh my translation screen. You can see everything turns up green. These are the translations currently saved in my translation memory. Of course, I can re-edit them if I want. But since I'm done now, I choose just to export the result. For that, I press the export button. Then I choose export translation. In the status bar, you can see the export has already been finished because this is such a small file. After that, I press the folder to go to my project directory. And here you'll see 4 different files. This one is the original file we updated, cat.docx. That's the file we originally uploaded. And then there's the translation, the translated file we just generated, which is cat_JA for Japanese.docx. There is a count file containing the number of words in this file, which is in this case 141 words. You can ignore this file. It's just used for Catachute's internal purposes. And there is a zip file called project_package.zip, which contains all the files so that you can just upload them, download them all at once by pressing just one button. In this case, we're only interested in the Japanese translation, so I press the download button besides set file. That prompts me to save the file in my directory, and now I can open it locally. And here's the result, your first translated file. Congratulations. So that's it, your first project in Catachute. There are many more possibilities, and I strongly recommend you to read the manual, which is accessible by pressing the manual button right here. This prompts you to download the manual, which currently is about 60 pages or so. And as you can see, there's lots and lots and lots of information there. But once more, if you encounter any problems, don't hesitate to drop us a line. We will help you out the very same day. Thank you very much for your attention. I wish you good luck with your first translation. Happy translating, and goodbye.